The planet is warming, from North Pole to South Pole. Since 1906, the global average surface temperature has increased by more than 1.6 degrees Fahrenheit, even more in sensitive polar regions. And the impacts of rising temperatures aren't waiting for some far-flung future. The effects of global warming are appearing right now. The heat is melting glaciers and sea ice, shifting precipitation patterns, and setting animals on the move. Many people think of global warming and climate change as synonyms, but scientists prefer to use climate change when describing the complex shift that's now affecting our planet's weather and climate systems. Climate change encompasses not only rising average temperatures, but also extreme weather events, shifting wildlife populations and habitats, rising seas, and a range of other impacts. All of these changes are emerging as humans continue to add heat-trapping greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. The Arctic is warming about twice as fast as the global average because of the climate change, causing the ice that polar bears depend on to melt away. Loss of sea ice also threatens the life of the polar bear, the food supply of polar bears like seals, which need the ice to be the habitat. With less sea ice in the North Pole, polar bears are forced to stay longer on land. Since they are starving, they tend to invade the home of the local people to find food. This is increasingly bringing them into contact with local people being injured or killed in self-defense. Besides that, polar bears are no longer can find food on the sea ice, and they need to travel around to find more food. A polar bear needs over 10,000 calories in one day to maintain their life and the energy. Since the grown-up polar bears don't have energy to find the food, the younger polar bears cannot survive the serious environment of pole region. They are forced to find food across the pole region. Also, enter to some dangerous area to find food and feed their child. For example, swimming for a long time to find fish to eat, which is very dangerous since polar bear is not a good swimmer. More terrible is, some male polar bears may eat their child for living. For polar bears, the melting ice make the food supply of polar bear become lesser. They start to find the food like bird eggs on a cliff, which even cannot fill their stomach. The number of polar bears had already greatly decreased due to the low amount of food supply and the disappear of the habitat. If global warming continues, the polar bears may extinct. For the human and the planet, since the water level will be higher, the coastline cities will be flooded. The living area of human will be reduced. Moreover, global warming causing more and more natural disasters. For example, typhoon, landslide and flooding. Also, the food supply of human will be reduced because the warm weather making some crops loss. The planet may no longer suitable for human beings and all the other animals because of the natural disasters and the crowded living environment. Global warming is a serious problem of this planet. If we don't care and solve this problem, it will be a serious disaster for human being. We should change for the world now and start to care about the environment. If we slow down the process of global warming, we can build a better future for our offspring. First, we can speak up and talk to our friends. You can make an impact global climate change. Moreover, you can invest in energy-efficient appliances. Next, you can buy better bulbs, such as LED light bulbs. It uses up to 80% less energy than conventional incandescents and cheaper. But the most important, you can shrink your carbon profile. You can offset the carbon you produce by purchasing carbon offsets, which represent clean power that you can add to the nation's energy grid in place of power from fossil fuels.